After the fall of House Harkonnen, Paul's primary adversaries were essentially defeated. He exacted revenge upon those who destroyed his own house and took everything away from him. In the second book of the Dune saga, Dune Messiah features a different type of adversary in the form of conspiracy, but one character stands out as potentially being the main villain in Dune Messiah, belonging to a strange and mysterious group, who among them dwell the horrifying face dancers. In the Tleilaxu star system, there is a sole planet called Tleilaxu, home to a highly sophisticated, genetically altered people known as the Bene Tleilaxu. They were known throughout the Imperium and were notorious for their genetic modifications and experimentations. The Tleilaxu were primarily known for producing twisted Mentats, the planet Tleilaxu being a home for renegade Mentats, hosting a special school for them where they train. And this is likely where the twisted Mentat of House Harkonnen, Paita de Vries, trained. Their name Bene Tleilaxu means sons of Tleilaxu, or people or tribe of Tleilaxu, similar to the name Bene Gesserit. And this Bene is an Arabic word often used to describe nomadic tribes of Arabia. And in a way, the Bene Tleilaxu and the Bene Gesserit are two sides of the same coin. The Bene Gesserit are a heavily matriarchal society, whereas the Bene Tleilaxu are a heavily patriarchal society. The Bene Gesserit are obsessed with genealogy and finding the right lineage to produce the Kvedat Haderach, and the Bene Tleilaxu are those who can heavily manipulate genealogy. And in their genetic engineering, they produced something called the Face Dancers, who can change their appearance to fit anybody they wish to mimic, almost to perfection. So they can essentially infiltrate groups in these specific disguises and never be caught or suspected, unless you're a highly skilled Bene Gesserit who would be able to detect on a genetic level whether you might be a face dancer or not. We got to see the face dancers depicted on screen in the sci-fi miniseries Children of Dune, and more recently we got to see it in the TV series Dune Prophecy. But what is so scary and horrifying about a face dancer? Well, the thing is they can literally change into anybody, so the person you're talking to could be a face dancer and you wouldn't even know it. The Tleilaxu displayed a disturbing lack of inhibitions in what they created. Unbridled curiosity might guide their actions. They boasted they could make anything from the proper human raw material, devils or saints. They sold killer Mentats. They'd produced a killer medic, overcoming the Suk inhibitions against the taking of human life to do it. Their wares included willing Mentats, pliant sex toys for any whim, soldiers, generals, philosophers, even an occasional moralist. They could have ulterior, sinister motives. They could be amongst a group of you to manipulate and change things to their desired outcome. And they are masters of their craft, because they have a very special, in-depth knowledge which gives them an edge. They can precisely replicate the appearance, voice, personality, even height of a person. They can grow in size to match a person's weight or width. And when they change, their face can literally move and morph as their flesh readjusts to the bone structure of their new victim that they are mimicking. Their face literally dances, which is where they got their namesake. And one can assume that if they are mimicking someone, the person they are mimicking is dead, yet another one of their victims. And if you thought Jessica's Prana Bindu moves were impressive, like Stilgar did, the face dancers have an even more advanced level of Prana Bindu training, making them incredibly fast and agile, a dangerous foe to have. And this is due to them having more muscle and nerve linkages than normal human beings, something that the Bene Tleilaxu developed scientifically in their laboratories. One of these face dancers is called Scytale. Now, keeping in mind everything that the face dancers are, Scytale could be seen as the most prominent villain of Dune Part 3 and one of the main adversaries to Paul Atreides. Without giving too much away, I'm going to read you an excerpt from Dune Messiah. He had chosen a bland, round-faced appearance for this meeting. Jolly features and vapid full lips, the body of a bloated dumpling. It occurred to him now, as he studied his fellow conspirators, that he had made an ideal choice, out of instinct perhaps. He alone in this group could manipulate fleshly appearance across a wide spectrum of bodily shapes and features. He was the human chameleon, a face dancer, and the shape he wore now invited others to judge him too lightly. The character Scytale could be played by Robert Pattinson, but I'm not sure that we will get to see just how fascinating this group actually is. Partly because of runtime restrictions and having to fit in the plotline of Dune Messiah and potentially adapt the Children of Dune novel in a kind of hybrid style adaptation, using threads from the third novel of Dune as well. But another reason I suspect a very limited adaptation of the Tleilaxu is because they are a group deeply tied to Islamic themes and elements, in a way similar to the Fremen group. The Fremen in Denis Villeneuve's Dune has become notorious for its limited use of Arabic and Islamic terms, which were heavily present in the books. The Tleilaxu are also deeply influenced by Zen Sunniism, just like the Fremen, and there were very little Zen Sunni elements in the movies, so I imagine they'll avoid any trace of that with the character of Scytale in Dune Part 3. The Tleilaxu language is the Islamiyat, which is essentially classical Arabic. I doubt we're going to see Robert Pattinson speaking classical Arabic. And as we know, the Fremen no longer speak the Arabic terms that they did in the book, but they speak a different kind of hybrid Shakopsa, which bears little resemblance to the book. We were just about lucky we got words like Mehdi in the film. The face dancers themselves might change their appearance in a similar way to the Dune Prophecy series, or it might look completely different in the film if they are featured. The face dancers in the Dune Prophecy series were still in the experimental stages of development, so they might look totally different in movie form, which occurs years later in the timeline. I get the feeling that we will get to see Scytale as the person who introduces a very important character, the Rola, Hate. But that is another story. So what do you think of the face dancers? Could Scytale be a worthy villain to Paul Atreides in Dune Part 3? Let me know in the comments. That's all I have for you at the moment. If you like these videos, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and click the bell so that you can be first to be notified of new videos. Check out some of my other Dune content or some of my other popular culture videos here.